We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. If you want to support this show through a donation, just hit the $ where you make a comment and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome in to the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid, PATC community. Do not be afraid to be a legend in the chat room, and of course with your phone calls later in the show. ACC Intrigue is at a fever pitch. It's at a fever pitch. Behind the curtain, in front of the curtain, everywhere. In the courtrooms, outside the courtrooms, everywhere. We're going to set the table. We're going to do more than set the table, but we're going to set the table for Monday, April 22nd, 9:30 in the morning, Leon County, Florida, in front of Judge C. Cooper, ACC and Florida State, and the PATC community. We're going to be covering it live, just like we did on April 9th. You can watch the proceedings, come to our PATC courtroom watch party and watch it with all of us. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comments section. And it's going to be quite fascinating. And I know the intrigue is at a fever pitch. And I'm not just talking about the Seminole fans and Clemson and ACC and PATC community and myself and the people. I'm talking about people who cover this for a living. There is a quickening. There is people's perception of this is starting to really gather up steam. Like, this is sitting on the knife's edge. The intrigue, not just, you think on April 9th, if you were with us, we had over 800 people watching on our live stream. People were hanging on Judge Cease Cooper's every word. They're going to be really hanging on his every word come April 22nd. The stakes are that high. What Judge C. Cooper says is important, but it isn't just what he says. It's how fast he says it, how fast he rules on it. There's a race to the courthouse. There's a race to the ruling. First of all, thank you, Jimmy, once again for being a Cloak and Dagger member. Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, tough skin, the gold blue dude. Thank you, Jimmy, for your incredible generosity. Once again, you are hereby knighted, Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Jimmy. I do appreciate your generosity to the channel. Thank you so very much. A member for 2 months in a row. Holy smokes. Expedition Greg. Always good to see everyone, and thank you for your friendship, Greg. Thank you for your friendship, Expedition Greg. 5 months, Cloak and Dagger member. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. You are hereby knighted, Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Expedition Greg. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, guys, for your incredible generosity. The membership, that show, members only episode is going fantastic. And of course, we dropped an episode today for everybody, episode 392. If you haven't caught it, watch it. It's about Memphis. It's about FedEx. It's about that big, massive name, image, and likeness deal. We're going to get back to that later. We have got a stacked show. And I don't know. If this is the calm before the storm, holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Okay, let me thank everybody who's come on in, and then we got to get going. This is a big show. Stephen McNeely is in the house. Don in Kansas is in the house. Joe Z, Daryl Harlow, R. Webb, Heartbreak 25, he's not afraid. Derek Marie for the Canes is here. Jimmy, of course. Charlie Atwood, Penn State. Skaven, yes. Hello, Mad Gopher. Daniel Kopsha is in the house. Todd Kirby, all the way from DC. Love to have you here, Todd. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Mr. Kyle Visser, swiveling hard. Preston from Greensboro. Let's go Heels, SEC bound. So I heard that Mr. Matt Brown, the head coach, told the ACC network, we do not want our spring football game to be televised on the ACC network. We want to keep it down, keep it on the down low. Well, that's what PJ Fleck is doing at Minnesota. They didn't even have a spring game. They didn't want anybody. North Carolina, Minnesota opens up the season Thursday night at Huntington Bank Stadium. Both coaches are saying, North Carolina has a new defense. Minnesota has a new offense. They don't want each other to see nothing. Cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger. Golden Gophers versus the Tar Heels. Holy smokes. Joaquin Morales is in the house. CFB playoff edits. Red Raider, Laura Weiss. She's here. Randy Taylor. Daniel Montcastle, check. Anthony Carlson, Mr. Spartans. The 2-minute warning has arrived for college football. The 2-minute warning. I'm good with it. I'm okay with it. I think that's fine. And communications between the coaching staff and a player on the field. One player is going to be mic'd up. On offense, obviously, it's going to be the quarterback. On defense, it's probably going to be a linebacker or the safety, probably the linebacker. We'll find out how teams play this. One guy on the field, communications in the helmet, going to the staff. Now, you don't have to have that, but most teams, most programs are going to go through that, right? They're going to go ahead and do that. I tell you what, expanded playoffs, communications, 2-minute warning, this new realignment, no divisions, high drama, new NIL. It is all just coming and coming and coming, squeezing into this 2024 season. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again until you all get sick of me. The 2024 football season is going to be the most fascinating college football season of my lifetime. That's how I'm looking at it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what is coming up in a few months from now. Eric Phipps is in the house. Hello from Alabama. Timegate is here. Caleb Ramirez is here. Todd Kirby, Kirk P, the Mr. Buffalo. Richard L is in the house. Clemson, Coffee with Greg. Look, Mr. Clemson Tiger DP, we found out today who the 9th school was that answered the call of Mr. Jim Phillips to get ready to vote to sue the Clemson Tigers. More on that later. Rob Ellen, another Clemson Tiger, is in the house. Matt Neeson, go Cyclones. Ryan Matson, Sky Yuma, baby. Sky Yuma anticipation. AMAC is in the house. Ryan Willie, UNC 35, Minnesota nothing. Come on, man. Come on. What's going on here? What's going on? No! Thank you, Evil Badger, for your generous super chat. I'm glad you got that off your chest, but you know what's going to happen. The Gophers, we were worried Minnesota would scout. Look. Hold on. Like Tough Tony said, Jackson Howard is a coming home. The big time recruit out of the state of Minnesota went to LSU, played pretty good at the end of the season when he finally got some playing time as a true freshman. He got his sack against Wisconsin in the bowl game. LSU has him at linebacker. He wants to be rush in. That's where he's going to make the money in the NFL. He's going home to Minnesota. So everybody, good luck. Good luck. Good luck guarding that defensive line. Anthony Smith, Jaw Joyner, Jackson Howard, Disco Danny Strigow. Holy smokes. And then Devin Eastern. Probably the best player of all of them. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. I'm all pumped up. It's April 19th. Man, I need few more months and we'll get there. Few more months and we get, yeah, Stephen McNeely, you're absolutely correct. Buckshot Kid is in the house. Kerry Gold Knowles. Your trucker hat is arriving. Kerry Gold Knowles, your trucker hat is arriving between April 22nd and April 24th. April 22nd to April 24th, Kerry Gold Knowles, just to let you know. And I do apologize for the inconvenience. Tyler Brown, it's fine, Greg. Badgers are going 5-7. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. Thank you, Kerry. God, I'm all fired up. Okay. Let's thank you for everybody who've come. Bo Stacker and everybody else. What's going on here? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. There's a lot of intrigue. There is a lot of intrigue. Let me first, let's get through some of this first that we gotta get to. Arizona State, NCAA penalties for COVID recruiting are out, and 4 former staffers, 4 years probation, a fine, self-imposed 23 bowl ban, vacating wins, scholarship reductions is the one that really bites. Recruiting restrictions, that really bites. I know they have a recruiting restriction going on right now, right? I believe so, Arizona State. Some form of recruiting restrictions is happening right now for the Arizona State football program. Booster disassociated for 5 years, show cause for 3 to 10 years. The agreed upon violations, again from Chris Vanini, the agreed upon violations committed by Arizona State and 4 individuals during the Herm Edwards era. Impermissible in-person recruiting contacts during the COVID-19 dead period, recruiting inducements, impermissible tryouts, tampering. The committee's final decision is still pending, and this may or may not be connected to all this. Jaden Rashada, he's officially in the portal. There's a lot of steam for Mr. Rashada to go to Georgia. Wow, Georgia. I got Georgia on my mind. I don't know. Is that the right spot for this gentleman? This would be, now he committed at Miami. He uncommitted pretty quickly. Florida, we know the story about Florida. Goes to Arizona State. And now he played a few games, got injured, a thumb injury. I guess it's not football related. Just had surgery, and now he's going to Georgia. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Immaculate is in the house. I enjoyed earlier watching Gray go after the Nebraska guy. I got to tell you. I don't know. I love Nebraska. Look, Nebraska fan base is incredible. It's big. It's huge. They're nice. They're knowledgeable. They are loyal. They are unbelievable. The money they give to the program. Cornhusker fans are incredible. But there is a few. And there are some that I talk just basically direct messages and back and forth. And I've said this before, there's something in the water at Lincoln, Nebraska. Even though the gentleman that I was going after earlier today, he lives here in Minnesota. But at some point, he drank that liquid in Lincoln. The Cornhusker fan was saying the following. That Matt Rule would not have done what PJ Fleck did. Matt Rule would have never brought in Jackson Howard because Jackson Howard said no to Minnesota last year, but after spending 1 year in LSU, out of position, he's coming back to Minnesota where he's going to get playing time. He's coming back home. And the Nebraska fans said, Matt Rule does not do that. That's his philosophy. If you say no the first time, you can't get a second try to get back at Nebraska. First of all, I think that I cannot believe that Matt Rule has that philosophy. In this day and age of the transfer portal, unlimited transfers, you've got to be ready to take in somebody who said no to you before. If you still want that recruit. Of course. Of course. Dan Lanning in Oregon said sometimes it's good sometimes to come in second in a recruiting battle. Because if they come around again, you got a good shot at them if you still want them. I tell you what, maybe that's why I'm all fired up. Because I'm going at it with Nebraska Cornhusker fans again. Holy smokes. Ryan Willie, Badgers will go 9-3. Keep the axe and win back the Wisconsin-Iowa trophy. Ryan Willie is all fired up on his Badgers. Tyler Van Dyke. I'm going to tell you something. For the Badgers to go 9-3, they're going to have to find the RB1, keep him healthy. Number 2, Tyler Van Dyke cannot be overthrowing guys for interceptions. He cannot throw with that lazy elbow that he did at Miami, where the ball goes sailing and it's interception after interception. So Ryan Willie, you're putting a lot of eggs in the basket of Tyler Van Dyke, and he's already dropped the eggs before. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for the generosity. Thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it, Mr. Evil Badger. It's called ethanol, Greg. It's poisonous. Gopher fans saying all that to an Iowa fan like the Iowa fan doesn't already know. Okay, we got to get to it here. Bro, I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. Let's just say, let's just start here. Matt Baker, the great Matt Baker. Remember, we put the word great in front of a college football reporter when they've reached the mountaintop at PATC Hall of Fame. The great Pete Thamel, the great Brett McMurphy, I forget who else we got. The great Matt Baker. There's a fourth one that I already forgot who it is. The great Brett McMurphy, the great Pete Thamel, the great Matt Baker. Oh, the great Ross Dellinger. The great Matt Baker. He's been doing an incredible job. Tampa Bay Times. You remember he put on an article on April 11th April 11th, and we went through that article. We went through that article on April 11th, over a week ago, when Matt Baker was investigating through FOIA, trying to figure out who was where when it came to voting to sue Florida State and Clemson. In the Clemson part of the story, this is after Clemson filed against the ACC in Pickens County. Right after that, ACC got together and they voted supposedly the proper way to legitimize the ability of Jim Phillips to have the ACC to go to court in Mecklenburg County to file against Clemson. Matt Baker at that time, on April 11th, knows the following schools attended a special meeting to sue Clemson, to give Jim Phillips the ability to sue Clemson. One of the members was not a voting member, but these were the schools that Matt Baker figured out on April 11th that went to the meeting to sue Clemson, to give ACC the ability to sue Clemson. Pittsburgh, Miami, SMU, non-voting member, Wake Forest, Boston College, North Carolina State, Notre Dame, Virginia, and now today Matt Baker can report the following. An update on my quest to find out which ACC presidents and chancellors voted to sue Florida State and Clemson. I now know Louisville said it would attend the special meeting to sue Clemson. That brings the commit list up to 9, including SMU. The public records work continues. So 8 voting members all ready to go sue to give ACC the ability to sue Clemson. We got 8 of the 12 that was needed, 3/4 vote. But, so we just dropped that in there. That just happened, reported a couple hours ago. Now, we're going to go through an article Matt Baker early this morning. The intrigue is high. I know, going to be careful here, but I know this April 22nd meeting, April 22nd, the courtroom, what happens in Leon County is going to be reported on a little bit more aggressively and a little bit more nationally than it was on April 9th. I got a really good, let's just say I got a really good hunch on that. Right? So, you remember April 9th, we did a live show. We did a live stream. We had over 800 people. There was a few people reporting in the courtroom. There was Chris Nee, Florida State 247. There was a few others. But I think there's going to be more national reporting on what goes on April 22nd, Monday morning. Now, we're going to be here, peek around the corner. We're going to be doing a live stream from the courtroom. So come join us, 9:30 in the morning, Eastern Time, PATC. How Florida State versus the ACC lawsuits could reach the Supreme Court. It's rare for suits to proceed in separate states. Here are the 4 ways Florida State and ACC litigation could play out. An attorney for the Atlantic Coast Conference had a word for the next stage of litigation between the ACC and Florida State. Chaos. Chaos. As if a 9-figure legal fight that could reshape the entire college football landscape wasn't wild enough, the initial rulings make it even wilder. People are starting to pick up on this. Monday, it's going to be a different tone, baby. More national people, they're going to be covering this. The intrigue is at a fever pitch. Fever pitch. That's why we titled the show the way we did it. You're going to find out Monday morning, April 22nd. That's because judges have allowed dueling lawsuits about Florida State's future in the league to proceed in 2 separate courtrooms 400 miles apart. The sides have a hearing set for Monday, Leon County, and in May 2nd in North Carolina. And we're going to be covering both starting Monday, April 22nd. If you're wondering how this parallel litigation is going to play out, you're not alone. You're not alone. And we're going to circle back to this at the end of this article. But this is why. Now, I'm going to say this a few times tonight. And I'm going to say it a few times Monday. I'm going to say this to where everybody gets sick of me in the PATC community. You're all going to get sick of me. But look, nobody knows how this is going to play out. So this is just speculation. But it's speculation on information that other people are thinking the same line of avenue here. But at some point, both sides are going to, I believe, and other people believe, we could be all wrong, but there is so much uncertainty. There's more uncertainty now. At some point, everyone's going to want certainty in this issue. Because the ACC does not know where this is going. ESPN does not know where this is going to end up. Florida State does not know the end game on this. Jim Phillips doesn't know. Wake Forest doesn't know. Boston College doesn't know. North Carolina Board of Governors don't know. I don't know. But at some point, everyone's going to want to win half the pot. They want to split the pot. ACC is going to want their security, their future, and some assets of the ACC are going to want to get in to the Power 2. Splitting the pot. Don't even turn over the next card. Don't even turn over the next card in the deck. Let's just split the pot right now. That's where I think this is heading. And I am not the only one. I'm even scratching my head, said Scott Jeeves, founder of the Tampa Bay area-based Jeeves Law Group. I can't give you a set answer. I can't give you a set answer. Nobody can. We are on uncharted waters in so many different ways. Even an idiot like me, the fat guy from Minnesota, even I can understand that we are in uncharted waters. Yes, this is the great Matt Baker's article of early this morning. We can't either. But conversations with a handful of attorneys provide a few scenarios, including one that goes all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Why is this rare and complicated? The federal courts resolve separate lawsuits routinely by combining them in one district. It happens all the time. Lawsuits filed in separate state courts like these, they're trickier. There's no set way to consolidate them. They can't move them to a neutral state. One judge isn't necessarily bound by the opinion of the other, if that opinion is even relevant. Different states can apply different laws, right? Said Robert Chapman, a commercial litigation partner at Tampa Bay's Brick Business Law. The easiest solution is for one court to punt or postpone its case until the other is resolved. That's what happened a decade ago when the University of Maryland and the ACC sued each other as the Terrapins left of the Big Ten. A Maryland judge paused. The Maryland judge hit the pause button on the school's complaint until the ACC suit in North Carolina finished to avoid unnecessary expenses and potential for inconsistent determinations of fact and law. Is the Florida State judge going to do that? I shouldn't say the Florida State judge. The Florida judge, excuse me. Is Judge C. Cooper, the Florida judge, the state of Florida judge, Leon County judge, is he going to hit the pause button like the Maryland state judge did? Well, it sure did not sound like it on April 9th. What is it going to sound like on April 22nd, Monday morning? That's why there's so much intrigue. That's why there's so much intrigue, even more now than ever. More now than ever. That hasn't happened in the Florida State ACC dispute. Texas A&M law professor James P. George understands why. If somebody comes to your court seeking relief, it's your job, if they got a claim, to give it to them, George said. But judges have initially said the claims are worth hearing. And complex factors from sovereign immunities to state public record laws could keep them on separate, parallel tracks heading toward at least 4 end games. Matt Baker puts it out there really nice and clean, the 4 different end games. Scenario number 1. Scenario number 1, according to Matt Baker, the Tampa Bay Times, and the people who he's talked to, the lawyers, multiple sources that Matt Baker has talked to. Scenario number 1, consolidation. Having 2 cases doubles the number of filings, which are complicated by distinct laws. Perhaps both sides agree it's easier to focus on one venue by dropping a case, or they could split it. A Florida court decides the confidentiality of the ACC ESPN contracts, while the North Carolina rules on the rest of it. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the ACC ESPN, they're not going to want to split it. So I don't know about scenario 1, but this requires one party to surrender home court advantage. Right now, we're going to find out more April 22nd, but right now it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. It seems unlikely so far either side would be willing to bend, said Kevin Paul, a commercial litigation attorney at Tampa Bay's Hill Ward Henderson. Appeals could also lead to consolidation. Florida State is appealing its initial loss in Charlotte to the North Carolina Supreme Court. If that court sides with Florida State, and it probably won't, but if it does, the ACC suit could end while the Florida case proceeds. Probably not a scenario that's going to happen. Scenario number 2. Scenario number to the Supreme Court. Let's say North Carolina Supreme Court rejects Florida State attempts to dismiss or pause the ACC's case. Suppose the same thing plays out in Leon County. Judge John C. Cooper rejects the rest of the ACC's initial arguments, and the league eventually appeals to the Florida Supreme Court. If both home court advantages hold, then the state Supreme Courts disagree. Disputes between the states are decided by the United States Supreme Court. I have a feeling this case is going to go to the Supreme Court one way or another, Chapman said. In this hypothetical, if that's what happens, if Chapman is correct, and this goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, scenario number 2, this is going to be going on for years. And if it's going to be going on for years, then, that's the ACC would rather have that scenario play out than Florida State, than Clemson. Scenario number 3, the race to judgment. Both parties have accused the other of a race to the courthouse to try to secure their preferred venue. Our third endgame then would be a fitting conclusion. This is the perfect setting for the race to the final judgment, says Texas A&M George. Fast forward through all the motions and appeals until one court issues that final judgment. That's when the Constitution's full faith and credit clause comes into play. The clause generally means one state must abide by, give full faith and credit to, the final judgment of another state. If the ACC wins in North Carolina, that ruling applies in Florida, even if the Florida State suit is ongoing. So it's the race to the conclusion. It's the race to the final judgment. That's what makes April 22nd so intriguing. It's not just what the judge rules anymore. It's about when's the next scheduled date, how fast this will go through Leon County with Judge C. Cooper or Mecklenburg County with Judge Bledsoe. How fast can this procedure go in both courts? It's the race to the final judgment. It's the race to the final judgment. I'm telling you guys and gals, Monday, April 22nd is going to be so fascinating to watch on multiple different levels. So here, game over. Attorneys could try to win this race by slowing down parts of the process, but the timeline depends more on each court's schedule than procedural tactics. So you can slow it down, you can appeal, but it might come down to Bledsoe's schedule in Mecklenburg County versus Judge Cooper's schedule in Leon County. It might just come down to the schedule. Who's got a more open schedule? I mean, I don't know. I do not know the differences between Mecklenburg County and Leon County. I don't know. I know one of the differences. Bledsoe has a staff. Cooper doesn't have a staff. I don't know who that favors. I don't know. I have no idea. It might come down to the schedule. Scenario number 4, settlement. The drama, stakes, and circumstances of these dueling lawsuits could be a fascinating legal case study. Except James F. Hagerty expects it all to become moot. The whole notion that there will be 2 verdicts at some point, or even 1 verdict, is probably far-fetched, said Hagerty, an attorney, author, and communications consultant. It's likely something will bring the 2 parties together, and that tends to be money. And I agree. Money. There is so much uncertainty here. If April 22nd comes, Monday, Judge Sheets Cooper, he makes more rulings in favor of Florida State. It looks like it's obvious that he's going to bust open the ACC ESPN agreement based upon Florida State sunshine laws. If everything goes pear-shaped for the ACC on April 22nd, if there's an open date in the calendar a week from now, if it looks like it's on a fast track, if it looks like the process is going faster in the state of Florida than it is in North Carolina, ACC's got to get the money. They've got to split the pot. They've got to split the pot. Don't turn over the next card in the deck. This is why April 22nd, just one day, another day of hearing, is so intriguing for so many people who are covering this, and for those who are watching this, myself and PATC community, and the ramifications. The ramifications of what gets and how this goes is so far outreaching. It's not just about the ACC, but for right now, it is just about the ACC. It's just about Florida State right now, Clemson, and probably a few more ACC schools. It's about the future of the other ACC schools. It's about the SEC. It's about the Big Ten. It's about the Power Four. It's about the Big 12. It's about future college football playoff format and distribution and bowl games and Donnie McNerney, thank you so much for your generosity. Gifted a membership. Holy smokes. Wow. Thank you so very much. Donnie, you are hereby knighted cloak and dagger once again. Thank you so much, Donnie, for your generosity. I do appreciate it. Thank you so very, very much. Let's see who was gifted that membership. If I've still got it. No, I don't. No, I don't. But whoever was gifted that membership, please say thank you to Donnie. Yeah. I don't know if that's a joke or not, Kerry. Maybe he said, I'm available the 23rd. I don't know. It was Immaculate. Okay, congratulations, Immaculate. You are hereby granted cloak and dagger. So, interesting article by Matt Baker. I think it captures completely the intrigue is at a fever pitch. What happens on April 22nd is just going to add to the pot of what people's perception is, who's got what leverage in this. It's the speed. It's not just the ruling. It's the speed on how fast it's going to go through the courts. in the state of Florida, in the state of North Carolina. And then you have, let me post it up here. Then you have Pickens County. You want to hear Intrigue? The title of the show was ACC Intrigue at a Fever Pitch. Today is April 19th. On April 17th, Clemson University documents submitted, amended summons and complaint filed by or on behalf of Axton Dylan Crowley. Okay? The following people were served electronically. So they were served. So this is not a case of Clemson knocking on the door and they cannot serve anybody. Remember the difficulty the first time that the ACC was trying to serve the ACC on the original complaint? Do you remember that? They had to go to Jim Phillips's house. They couldn't get it done in the corporate building. The ACC also had a difficult time serving Clemson. But they were served. People were served electronically. Matthew Todd Carroll, representing the Atlantic Coast Conference. Kevin A. Hall, representing the Atlantic Coast Conference. C. Mitchell Brown for Clemson University. Benjamin Rush Smith, Clemson University. David Edison Dukes, Clemson University. Charles Franklin Turner Jr., Clemson University. The following people had not been served electronically by the court, therefore they must be served by traditional means. There's nobody listed. Everybody was served electronically. Okay? If you look, that happened on April 17th, 2:03 Eastern Time. Now it's April 19th, 7:07 Eastern Time, and we do not see the complaint. It hasn't dropped. We cannot see it. Why can't we see it? Is it because there's something wrong with the docket, something wrong with the system in Pickens County? Is there something that we can't, something wrong with it? Or was whatever this complaint was filed, this amended complaint, Clemson at ACC in Pickens County, is it a complaint that is sealed, that we're not going to see, we're not going to be able to see it? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a fat guy from Minnesota who likes to poke and prod. Now, what's really fascinating to me is we were told on April 17th in the morning that this was going to show up. I put out a bunch of tweets. Then it showed up the electronic filing in Pickens County. And now we've been waiting for, 56, 58 hours afterwards, and nothing has shown up. And I'm not the only one sitting here. Again, the reason why this show tonight is called ACC Intrigue is at a fever pitch. Is it sealed? And if it's sealed, why is it sealed? Is it because it has to do with the ACC ESPN media agreement? Is that what the whole complaint was about? I don't know. I'm just speculating. So is everybody else. So is everybody else. Before we get to your comments, more of your comments, your super chats. If it's a super chat, we'll get to it right away. But your comments in the chat room. There is something I want to talk about here when it comes to. This is a Wilner article of 2 days ago. The Pac-12 finances. We're barely going to go through any of this. I just wanted to show the athletic departments relied heavily on help from the campus last year, but is that support misplaced or money well spent? We're not going to really go through this, but other than to say, the Pac-12 schools were just swimming in deficits. At 10 public universities, not counting the private ones, an $81 million shortfall last year with only 5 schools reporting an operating surplus. The situation gets much worse when university support is removed from the budgets. That support takes 2 primary forms in major college athletics. Direct transfers from central campus to athletic departments, and number 2, money from student fees. The 10 public schools in the Pac-12 closed out its 2022-23 fiscal year, the first without COVID policy for spectators, with $1.22 billion in revenue, $1.3 billion in expenses. Washington topped the list at $151.6 million, just $1 million more than Oregon. Washington State was at the bottom of $79 million. The total shortfall for 11 athletic departments climbs to $252.8 million. What's more, the $252.8 million shortfall without campus support does not include an internal loan of $31.6 million from Arizona Athletics. So the real deficit for the 11 athletic departments last year was close to $300 million. I just wanted to show that. So again, we know that the Pac-12 imploded. Some schools went to the Big 12. Oregon and Washington went to the Big 10. Stanford and California went to the ACC. Oregon State and Washington State are going to be building up a new conference here soon. I know one of the things that those schools are going to have to do is probably going to eliminate sports. A lot of those universities, a lot of those athletic departments sponsor more sports teams with scholarships than some SEC institutions do. And those SEC institutions are making $120, $130 more million in revenue than some of those Pac-12 institutions. So I think at some point we're going to see sports get cut from those institutions. I just wanted to bring that up. I thought that was a fascinating John Wilner article of a couple of days ago. Kerry Gold knows, Greg, the judge said that he was clearing his scheduler for the 22nd and the 23rd. Did anyone else hear that? Let me open up the phone lines. Carrie Gold knows. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. Thank you so much for your generosity. I do appreciate it. Did the judge say that on April 9th? Is that when he said it? Let me open up the phone lines here. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Give me a call. Let me know anything college football, anything, what your expectations are when it comes to April 22nd. Also, let me check something here real quick. I don't know exactly. Phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. I do not know exactly what the schedule is tomorrow. When it comes to doing a watch party for a spring football game. I know that Michigan is on at Fox at noon Eastern time. We may be able to do that game. There are some other games that I may do. So we're just going to have to play it by ear. I have not been able to nail down exactly our schedule for tomorrow. Hey, Greg, Justin Lucas. The judge said he would decide the MTD, motion to dismiss, and motion to stay discovery on April 22nd and maybe April 23rd if they can't finish up. Nothing about the merits. Thank you, Justin Lucas. Tyler Brown, April 22nd. Greg, we'll have trouble finding the live stream. Within 5 minutes of joining the live stream, Cooper would have ruled Florida State won on all counts. Louisville spring game right now is on the ACC network. Let me see if I can. You know what? I'm not going to do it there. I'm going to do it. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. I've got the ACC network. I got to have all the channels. Okay, hold on. We did the North Carolina State spring game watch party on the ACC network. Yeah, I've got it. I got to make sure I don't have the sound on here. Oh, shoot. Hold on. White 14, red 0. Well, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on it. Jim Reese, Louisville, future Big 12 member. Louisville lost some guys in the portal. They lost some guys in the portal. They lost Penny, the running back from Kent State. That was a shocker. Or maybe Louisville knew they were going to lose him. I had not... Matt Norlander, senior writer, analyst for CBS Sports, said, in talking to people across CBB this week, there's an unrelenting, overwhelming sentiment that portal recruiting, while new and crazy the past few years, is at an entirely different level of insanity plus untrustworthiness in 2024 due to the NCAA being forced back off all NIL oversight. And of course, that's college basketball, but same with college football. Is Justin Lucas still in the house? Justin, give us a call and let us know what you think is going to happen on April 22nd. If there's just going to be a ruling, or if he needs April 23rd, if there's going to be a ruling on to dismiss, on the motion to stay or the motion to dismiss, and motion to stay on discovery. And also, Justin, if you give us a call, let me know what you think is going on in the Pickens County docket. Tony, it's baseball weather. See you at the Twins game. Yeah. Yeah, people are saying, why don't Minnesota have a spring football game? Well, if they had it tomorrow, the game would be kicking off in the 30s. It was snowing outside today. So... no, the Gophers got that done with. They did a practice on the 11th, a scrimmage, and that's it. Last time I was in Minneapolis, it was August, and I froze my bleep off. In August, it's pretty warm in Minnesota. We get that muggy air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. We're right at the end of, the tornado track, right? Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, up to Minnesota. There's no spring in Minnesota. It's a short one. It's a short one. No question about it. Okay, let me see what else we got here. Now I'm keeping an eye on the Louisville game. I didn't know they were playing. I did not know the spring game was going on. Again, if you came late to our show here on Friday evening, Matt Baker, very interesting article, how the Florida State and ACC lawsuits could reach the Supreme Court He went through 4 scenarios. Scenario number 1 was consolidation. Maybe one venue drops the case. Probably doesn't look like it's going to happen. Scenario number 2 goes all the way to the Supreme Court because it gets appealed up to the North Carolina State Supreme Court, to the Florida State Supreme Court. If both home court advantages hold, then the state Supreme Courts disagree, then it gets decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. And if that happens, the timeline could stretch out for years. Florida State and Clemson don't want that. Scenario number 3 is the race to judgment. That's where we're on right now, race to judgment. And it could be decided by the schedules. Attorneys could try to win this race by slowing down parts of the process, but the timeline depends more on each court's schedule than procedural tactics. And then the 4th scenario is a settlement. James F. Hagerty expects it all to become mute on who could win this fascinating legal case. He believes it's going to come to a settlement. It's likely something will bring the 2 parties together, and that tends to be money. And I agree, because I think both are going to want to split the pot. Both are going to want some certainty. ACC is going to want certain security, and Florida State and Clemson is going to want a certain exit hatch. And they're going to be willing to pay for it. The ACC is going to be willing to take the money. So I think there's going to be a settlement. I think the number is going to be somewhere in at least the 200 to 240 million. That's my best shot at it. Somewhere around there, maybe even a little higher. Everybody eventually is going to want certainty instead of the court to the race house. There is a touchdown. No, that was a highlight. My bad. I think the 2-minute ruling, movie time blues, I think the 2-minute warning is fine with me. I got no problem with it. Now, is it going to lengthen the game somewhat? Remember, they've been trying to shorten the game up for TV media, to make sure you can get a game in on all those TV slots. Is the 2-minute warning going to lengthen the game a little bit? We're going to have to find out. Kerry Gold knows is 150, I think he meant million. I think it's going to be more than that. But we shall see. All right, guys, I think we'll close it up. There's no phone calls coming in. We went through the stories that we wanted to go through. Matt Baker. Tonight was about setting the table for April 22nd. So we're going to be coming live 8:30, 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 in the morning Central Time, 7:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 Pacific Time in the morning, April 22nd. We're going to be doing some stuff during the weekend here, but the big show, April 22nd. Please join us at Peek Around the Corner if you haven't done so yet. Please subscribe to our channel. Open up your notifications, because we can come on live at any time. Any breaking news. If Pickens County finally drops that amended complaint that Clemson did file, they served the lawyers. Everybody's got it. If they drop it, the moment they drop it, we're going to be coming live here at Peek Around the Corner. So make sure you've subscribed to our channel. Open up your notifications. Before you leave, please smash that like button. Thank you for the donations, for your generosity, for the chat room, and for, there was no phone calls. Now, was there? Shame on the PATC community. That's okay. We were just setting the table here. I'll see you this weekend. We're going to do something this weekend. And definitely, we're going to be coming on live Monday morning. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.